Practice Podcast with Joe Sanok, session number 1337. I'm Joe Sanok, your host, and welcome to the Practice of the Practice Podcast, where we help you build a thriving private practice you absolutely love. Hope your day is going great, whether you're watching this live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, or you're hearing this when it goes on to the podcast. Really glad that you're hanging out with me here today. As you may have been following along, I am starting a counseling practice. And so started Great Lakes Online Counseling. And I'm so excited to announce that the website, greatlakesonlinecounseling.com, is up and available. There's still a lot of work to do, but I really wanted to get the main page, the main information on there, and then we're gonna start adding things in there. It was more because I wanted to get the hiring going sooner than later rather than getting clients right away. Want to get the hiring going, and then we're going to be working on some of the hiring stuff. And so I'll kind of walk through what I've done and then kind of what I'm planning to do. So first, you may have noticed that there's a little bit of a break between week 7 and week 8. I did take some time off over the holidays, so I'm not going to count those weeks as working weeks. So if I ever take time off, then it may be spaced out a little bit farther than every single week. But to me, it's one of those things of just telling you where I'm spending my time in my 2 hours each week. Oh God, I have an afternoon espresso. And yesterday I had another one at 2 o'clock. And as a dude in his 40s, you should not usually have espresso after 2 o'clock. I was up till 1 in the morning last night, just could not sleep. Usually I go to bed at like 11. But yeah, so that's what you hear me sipping away at, and yeah, diving into this podcast today. So I'm gonna share with you just a little bit about what I've been spending my time on. So I got the website all up, sessionsites.com/Joe. If you want a website, Session Sites did a great job. It's funny because we've been promoting Tom, and usually Session Sites, he's able to usually have a pretty quick turnaround, 2 to 3 weeks from start to finish. And that podcast you heard with him was quite a bit ago, and part of that's that he got really busy really fast from some of our referrals. So yeah, so he donated making Great Lakes Online Counseling for free, and managing that just because I'm sharing on the podcast about him. But that's been working for his business. So I definitely moved down on the priority list a little bit, which is totally fine. He took some time off at the holidays also. So excuse me, it was awesome. It was so great to come back and to see that website up, have that branding, really be able to round out my LinkedIn profile for Great Lakes Online Counseling. And then yesterday posted the job. So we're gonna look at LinkedIn. Right now, and it looks like we've got an applicant. I'm not going to tell you that person's name, but what I did is, so I took everything that I was looking for, went into ChatGPT, had it create a job description, scanned through it to make sure it sounded like me. There were some things that were definitely off, but for the most part, it was pretty good. Then posted that on LinkedIn yesterday. What I found was it automatically defaulted to being required to be in Traverse City. It's a remote position that can be in Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Minnesota are the three that we're starting with. And so started there, put it up, talked to how it was a remote position, offering 39,000 to 45,000 based on the numbers I've shared with you previously in this series. And then we're going to start by paying $55 per session, as they're growing. And so we'll talk through all of that when we make the job offer, to say that it'll move towards a part-time 20-hour position, probably over the next 3 to 6 months. And so we want to fill them up quickly, but also don't want to have that liability, of paying that money every other week to somebody to just sit around and not do much. So going to be talking through that with them. And so posted it. I also, within LinkedIn, they had like $100 credit, because I hadn't done a job posting in a long time. If I think I spent $100, so like that's worth it to spend $100 on this project. So that's the first actual real money that I've spent on this project now 8 weeks in. And part of that's because I have worked these deals with people to be able to get free websites, to be able to help in a lot of other areas. So like Ubuntu freelancers are going to be doing the phones and all of that VA work. in exchange for me talking about them on this show. So I'll be talking about what that would cost. So like, a typical website, $2,000 to $3,000. Typical in regards to a person answering your phones, about 500 to $1,000 a month for that. So those are real costs that are being waived for me, but that you would have as you got started. So really kind of all in right now, I would probably be, with the website, branding, all that, probably about $3,000 in, if I had to pay for those things. And then I'll talk a little bit about my banking situation before we look at this applicant. And I'm not going to obviously say their name or things like that. But I do want to take you behind the scenes with that process of how I think through applicants as I'm looking at Great Lakes Online Counseling. So my banking, I've always done through a particular bank. Really like them. I want it to be easy. I want to kind of stick with what I know. I know that system. There's like zero fees for business banking. And kept going to their website to schedule a time to set up a business banking account. And so, there was no times available for months and months. And I'm just like, what is going on? So I drove down to the bank yesterday. Got there at like 4:15 because I had just wrapped up a podcast. My kids had a snow day, so I'm in this like blustery storm. I'm like, I am gonna finish this because I want to do this podcast, and and there's also some accountability here of I need to do my 2 hours per week. So drove down there, told them, hey, just so you know, like your online scheduling is not working, and they're like, yeah, we know. So I scheduled for today. So actually, in a couple hours, I'm gonna go meet with their business banking person and get that bank account set up. So that's in the works. And then from there, once that's set up, then I can get the business credit card, and then that business credit card, I'm going to start getting kind of the things I do have to pay for. So my Google Workspace, for example, Google's not going to waive that fee just for some quote promotion. There's going to be other things that I have to pay for. And then I'm also thinking through the flow of scheduling. So wanting people to be able to start to schedule after I hire someone. It's interesting being a consultant, kind of knowing the flow, but then now that I'm in the thick of it, being like, gosh, like how do I do this? Do I have like the calendar be within Headway? Do I have the calendar within Calendly? Is Calendly even HIPAA compliant? What if that intake person in South Africa isn't free during that time? And so I feel like I'm gonna have to talk with Ubuntu and kind of figure out how they do it. And then also from a phone perspective, I'm probably gonna use Spruce. That's a very popular platform. I haven't talked to them yet about whether they would waive the fees to get promotion. So then I've got to talk to them still. So kind of like that to do writing this down. So give me a second to grab a pen. Because I'm trying to keep track of this to make it easier for all of you that we can kind of put this all together at the end as sort of like a even more clear step by step. But yeah, so next it's like bank and then credit card and then Google and then we want to have phones and then link with Ubuntu freelancers and then figuring out kind of the calendar side. You know what I should do? I should go into the Practice Academy and ask people how they do it. That's what we do within that system. So practiceofthepractice.com/membership. Um, I want to make sure I use the things that we've built. So that's what's next on the agenda. I'm excited to look at this applicant. So I'm going to jump in here. So one of the things that I like about having done the paid version of LinkedIn is that the posted job, so I posted it, it's had in less than 24 hours, 221 views. And then the paid version is they find candidates. So I'm going to view invited first, and I'm not going to obviously show this to you all, but to kind of see, there's a couple must-haves, and there's three must-haves that I had, like for example, being licensed in Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Minnesota. And then having at least 2 years of experience. And so walking through the must-haves, things like that. So all these people have at least 1 out of 3 of the must-haves, and so that's good because like the must-haves. Let's look at what those qualifications are that I put in here. Fully licensed, in them eligible to practice independently via telehealth. Well, actually, that I'm just going to remove that. There's no point in having that one because they just need to be fully licensed. And then 2 years of experience as a licensed counselor or therapist. I honestly just care that they're licensed because to get licensed, you have to have experience. So I'm gonna save and close that. So I'm going to update that. And then we have the preferred. So that's the hiring plan. So then next is the review applicants and then screen qualified applicants with AI is something that you can do. So I'm going to go in and review this applicant. And I am going to, okay, this person does not live in the United States. They do not have experience in any of this. They, yes, they are just not at all qualified. All right, so we are going to, let's see how we do this. So then I'm going to go to view screening question responses. They said they're fully licensed as a therapist in Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Minnesota. And this person is definitely not someone that is, no, they are not. They just lied. No, looking at where they currently work, and they currently are a service salesperson. They are a marketing manager. So, not good. So what I'm going to do here is, what do I do to, I'm going to click on them and then show more details. They didn't answer the questions. So yeah, so I'm going to reject that person. So first applicant, not a person that's qualified. So want to hopefully get some qualified people. I'm going to be promoting this on Facebook and letting other people know that live in those states. So if you do know people, that go ahead and find me on LinkedIn, and you'll find that on Great Lakes Online Counseling. So it'll be interesting to see how the hiring process works here as we look and learn about how to get good quality folks to be able to join the practice. So, wondering, what are you thinking about all this? Is this something that you're digging into also? Are you joining me in these sorts of things? So, as we dig in more, want to make sure that we just take time to get to know all of you and to hear your different kind of levels of practice. If you want to connect, send me a direct message on LinkedIn or somewhere else. We're all over the place. And this is going to be that journey of just talking through starting a practice, starting a group practice from scratch, hiring people, seeing if in 2 hours a week we can do it, or if we can't. So super huge thanks to Gusto, who is our sponsor for today. Gusto helps you with all the payroll things. When you head on over to gusto.com/Joe, you get 3 months for free when you run your first payroll. Again, that's gusto.com/Joe. Thank you for letting me into your ears and into your brain. Have a great day.